Thank you for joining us for the MidPointe Monroe 10-year anniversary project. Could you please tell us your name and your position/role with the library?
Hi, I'm Maria. I'm the Patron Services Lead here at Monroe.
So just for a background, could you tell us about your position? What are your roles and responsibilities, and what is your day-to-day like?
Sure. Pretty much my main role is going to be assisting patrons with whatever library services they may need help with, whether that be just quick help on the computer or extensive help researching something. I'm kind of here for whatever they need, if they need a good book to read, anything like that. Day to day, I would say sometimes I am in the back working on board games, weighing all of the board games, and working on decorations for around the library, that kind of thing. People probably see me up at the desk a lot. I'm working up at the desk most of the time.
My name is Rebecca Bright. I am the current Monroe Branch Manager with the MidPointe Library System. I'm checking in with the staff day to day, making sure that there's not any holes or water leaks or anything crazy going on, but also making sure I'm checking in with the patrons that we have regularly and making sure the staff can do their day-to-day job. Talking with Ohio Living Mount Pleasant, checking in with them if there's things that need to be done on the property, and just trying to find ways that we can better the community.
My name is Ed Beck. I'm the Director of Facilities here at Mount Pleasant.
My name is Dan Cappers, and I'm the Executive Director of the campus.
Fantastic. So just for some background, could you tell us a little bit about your positions, like your roles and responsibilities, and like what you do?
So for me, it's all of our campus, our grounds, all of the buildings, maintenance, repair, housekeeping and laundry, security at nights. We're here 24/7 covering our campus.
I'm the Executive Director of the campus, which means every day is a little bit different. And if something went wrong, it's my fault. And if everything goes right, I was smart enough to stay out of everybody's way.
In your own words, how would you describe the Monroe Branch?
I would say it's homey, quaint, comfortable. We try to make everyone feel at ease when they're here. And yeah, it feels really nice to be here.
It's quiet here. I would say it's a little bit different from some of the bigger branches, but yeah, it's pretty quiet, but nice and busy and easygoing. So I really like it.
Could you please tell us about the decision to open the Monroe Branch? You said it started before, but...
It did start before. It actually started many decades ago. In the 70s, the MidPointe or Middletown Library at the time bought a lot, put a sign up in it that said, "Future home of your Middletown Library." They never built a branch there and eventually sold the lot. It turned out to be a little bit of hard feelings, from the community on that, which I can understand. So the board, just prior to me, was trying to rectify that and find a Monroe location. They shopped around a lot of places, including the old IGA that is now the Monroe Police Department. So they did a lot of due diligence and shopping around properties for Trenton, Monroe, and for Liberty at that time. They prioritized Trenton and Monroe rather than Liberty back at that time. But this particular location, there was a collaboration there that they had a residence that was opening up on Tennessee Avenue, the current building that we're in, and it was offered to us as a rent-free space to offer a public library service. It is small and we could always use more space, but it's been a great opportunity to deliver library services to the community of Monroe in a very wonderful partnership with Mount Pleasant, Ohio Living. Again, rent-free space. They've been great landlords, great partners.
What made Ohio Living Mount Pleasant interest in working with the library, and any details on how the partnership collaboration came about?
I absolutely know intimately about it. Don Pelfrey, one of our current residents, has moved in here since then, but he was a board member at the library, the MidPointe Library System, and he was also a board member here at Ohio Living Mount Pleasant. And he told us about the opportunity for the collaboration. So he set myself, the executive director of the library, and myself together, and we started the collaboration. And at that time, it was she, at that time, Travis, of course, is the gentleman now doing a great job, but was very excited to try a new version of the library, that it's more social, it's more community, that if you want a book, you can have it in 24 hours and we'll have it for you here. But it's not the hallways and volumes of books, and you're not allowed to say anything, don't be loud. It's alive, and it's a community library. So she was very excited to try to start that concept here, and we were very excited to work with her. The interesting thing about working on projects, Ed has been blessed to work with Ed now for a long time, and we've done a lot of projects with different companies. And I think the library for us was one of the most fun.
Absolutely.
I'm speaking for Ed,
Yeah,
but I
absolutely.
can definitely say it was, because if you can imagine, you're working on a project together and you're sitting at a table and you're negotiating, I'll do this if you do that. Or, can you do that? And I don't think we're going to do that. You should do that kind of thing. But in this case, it was two service organizations that serve other people, that exist to care for and serve other people.
Right.
Sitting at a table, falling over each other, saying, "Oh, we'll do that. Oh, we'll do it. Oh, we'll do that. No, we'll do it." And it was just a wonderful collaboration that brought this to life.
How long did that take for that collaboration to start and then to get the library? Do you know?
I'm terrible at those kinds of details, to be quite honest with you, but it was a joyful process, and we had boards to work through and that kind of thing. So I think it went as quickly as it could. I think the one takeaway that was the most interesting for me was we had a resident living in this house at the time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to work with her on relocating her to a different location on campus, which she gladly did for us, and to a nicer, better home, and we paid for her to move. But then to open up the space for her. The other thing that was interesting at the time was the fact that we had to jointly reinforce the floors of the building because of the weight of the books.
Yes.
I never thought of that for a second.
No,
Did you, Ed?
no,
That
we
we'd
did
have to
not.
reinforce the foundation to support the books.
Yeah.
So it's reinforced in certain areas of the building, not all the areas, but I think that was probably the most interesting thing.
It was.
So we kind of mentioned it now. This house, the library used to be a building. You want to talk a bit more about how it used to be a home and what went into making it a library? I mentioned a few things, but are there any other fun little facts?
Yeah, so it was a home. We had to do the renovation for the rooms, obviously. In the main room, there were walls and they had to be taken down. So we had to put LVLs in the ceiling to be able to hold the structure of that. So that was an important detail part, and obviously the structure and the flooring. The ramp on the side coming up was something that it wasn't at slope, and that had to be redone as well. And in the office area, it originally started out as a cafe for us, which is now turned into an office for the library staff. But a lot of interesting things that went into it. The garage we still both use. We utilize one half, and you guys utilize the other half, and just some character to what we have here.
I had been a part of the ribbon cutting here at Monroe when we got our new building. I felt like that was really new. That was my first ribbon cutting, and there was a lot of people from what I remember. I remember we were all standing like in the grass right across from it, and we had the ribbon cutting, and then this is probably I would say the fullest this building had been was that day. At one time, honestly, there was so many people. There were people that were checking out, that were just kind of walking in to see, that were talking with our administration and with us. I actually believe a couple different people from Monroe had come in. That it was funny. They had recognized me from my last name. They didn't know me, but they knew my last name, and they were like, "Are you so-and-so's daughter?" And I was like, "Yeah, how'd you do it?" They're like, "You look like them." So it was just really kind of fun in that way. And I remember I sat at the desk most of it and was just helping patrons check in, out, answering questions. It felt like it lasted hours. I don't think it actually lasted hours, but I felt like it was the majority of my day had been the ribbon cutting. So it was really fun as well.
About how long have you been working at the branch?
I've been here since right after COVID, so I joined late 2021.
And how have things changed since you've been here? Roughly 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's changed quite a bit, actually. I know the branch went through some renovations before I joined, but since I've been here, the collection has moved around a lot. We're always trying to figure out new ways to cram as many books into the space as we can. without it feeling like there's books crammed everywhere. So there's always new shelves and shifting everywhere. Since we opened up after COVID, not a lot of people knew that we were here. We're a little bit tucked away. So it started off very slow with the people that were here before COVID happened, coming back and, getting books. But it's been a process trying to get the whole community to be aware that we are here. So over the years, it's just been like a steady increase of the amount of families and people that are becoming aware of us. And we still have people coming in and saying, I didn't know you were here. So that's been fun, trying to get the word out. And it's nice to always be seeing new people.
So you mentioned they challenge. What other challenges have you encountered while working here?
Other challenges would probably be, we obviously want to do more programs and everything to help, bring the community together here. But there's only so many things we can do in the smaller space. So we try to make it, whatever programs we do have, it's very, what's the word for it? Like an intimate setting, and where everybody kind of gets some one-on-one attention. Like on story time, it's not overwhelming. You have maybe like 10 kids here at the most, and that's on a busy day. So that's what we try to achieve.
What is the general patron response to the branch?
It seems to be that people like that we have a lot of the newer stuff here. Because we're so small, we try to keep a lot of the new stuff. So if they're looking for a book that they may not have been able to find at the bigger branches, chances are we may have it here. Also, I've heard that it's a good place to just sit and study. There's not a lot going on around you because we don't have the crowds that some of the other branches do. So that's been nice. Of course, we've heard that it's a little small, but we like it that way.
Ohio Mount Pleasant is very blessed to have not only just a public library on a campus, but the MidPointe public library system. Okay. Our residents, we just talked about it. We have small group meetings every spring and every fall with all the independent residents in small groups. So we see about 85% of the residents. And about half the meetings, people bring up the positive attributes of having the library and how convenient it is. And then some people aren't aware of it. So then we tell them about it and they're like, oh my goodness. So it's such a nice thing to have on campus for our residents and our staff. It's such a blessing to have that availability for our residents to use.
Yeah, and so from a maintenance perspective, we take care of the structure, take care of the HVAC system, things of that nature. And so the maintenance department for MidPointe will reach out to us. Hey, we've got a question, concern. We'll come up and take a look at it, figure out who's taking care of it. As Stan mentioned already, when we sat at the table and said, oh no, we'll do that, you'll do that, that type thing, it still lives today in our discussions and when things come up. The other part of collaboration is we have a daycare that's very close here on our campus, Hilltop Child Development, and they bring kids over and things during the day when they have activities here. So it's really, as Stan mentioned, being that hometown feel, it really is.
My name is Kendra Herber, and I've been coming to MidPointe Monroe probably for almost 10 years now. I love that I can reserve books online and that they are there for me to pick up right when I come in here with my name already in the book. And it's so quick too. Sometimes they're there the next day and you can get them from all the different branches and it's just right here. I don't have to go find the books and travel a ton. It's just so convenient.
I'm Cheryl McCarthy, and I've been coming to MidPointe Monroe since they opened. I think I was there within the first week of them opening up.
What is your favorite thing about the branch?
I love that it feels like home. It's just comfortable. All of the people that work here are amazing. It's not like I've ever experienced. In my past jobs, it's never been like this with coworkers. They're so nice, so sweet. They care about everybody that comes in. And I like seeing the people that come in regularly. And I don't know if I would be able to do that at one of the busier branches. Maybe you recognize a few regulars, but I'm recognizing everybody that comes in pretty much, unless they're brand new. And they recognize me, so we're able to chat and like catch up on each other's lives a bit, which is really kind of unique, and I like that.
I think I've seen some of these women for 4 or 5 years now, and you build a relationship with them, which is really neat. You get to actually get to know them.
I know we've had some new librarians, but every single one of them is so pleasant and so wonderful and so interested in what I'm doing. So I love meeting new librarians, and I've had really great service and good experiences there. I think it's also really nice that I do read a lot of books that are parts of a series, and there have been times when I've requested a book to be ordered, and that always gets approved, and I really appreciate that. I can get books that you don't already own, but they're purchased for me. So I appreciate that. And just, again, the recommendations and the pleasantness. Sometimes I'll walk in a couple minutes before they close. I'm like, I'm really sorry. And then by the time they just have the books ready for me as they see me coming. So that's also nice to be recognized.
Is there a project, program, or achievement that you've worked on or took part in that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, so here at Monroe, our scavenger hunts are really big. So I started doing scavenger hunts just as like a little extra thing that the kids could do when they were here, and they can earn a sticker. And I thought this might be fun for like a couple of months. And then the kids probably won't care. But then the kids kept asking for it, and they expected a new one every month. And if I don't change it on the first of the month, they get so mad. So I've kept that up for years now, and it has not slowed down. Also, the board games that people are able to check out. I kind of like spearheaded the project to get them so that we can weigh them upon return. So that way we can get the materials checked in faster than we were able to before, keep them circulating as fast as possible.
Do you have a favorite memory you would like to share?
Well, just the other day, I came in here to get some books I'd reserved for my daughters and also myself. And I was on crutches. And one of the ladies at the front desk was like, I got this. I'm going to help you. She helped me get all the stuff to my car. And it was just so endearing. Yeah, very personal.
Knowing everybody, you get so like invested in people's lives that, we had a patron when I started. She was 100 years old, and she used to come all the time and request books, and she was the friendliest lady you can imagine. And it's been an unexpected challenge, like dealing with, maybe a family that came in all the time and suddenly they move away. And you like kind of feel that loss a little bit. Or like that 100-year-old patron, she passed away sadly a couple years ago. And it was kind of like gut-wrenching for all of us. And we ended up going to her funeral and everything. So I just have a lot of memories about the patrons here. And it's lovely. And I hope they all keep coming. And I hope that I can keep working here as long as possible.